Relic have pushed out a hotfix today, and given that the 2.2 patch was released less than 2 weeks ago, this is actually a pretty fast turnaround time for them, and it's a crucial one as well because with the holiday break coming up, this might be the last set of balance changes we see for, maybe like 6 or more weeks. So let's see what it's containing. We've got a couple of small bug fixes here, including heavy tank call-in population costs, and you guys have probably seen the screenshots, but the AI were building like dozens and dozens of propaganda towers. It seems like that will no longer be the case. For US forces, it's just a couple of changes to the Partisan battle group, trying to remove some of the tunnel cheese options. I hope you guys all saw this video from Will the Noobs. Highly recommend this channel, where a bunch of engineers pop out in the enemy's base and satchel charge it to death. No longer going to be possible after this hotfix. A couple of fixes to transfer orders. Let's see how it goes. Transferring screen here. So 2.5, that's exactly where it should be at this stage. Now we're going to go for officers' quarters. Try that again. Exactly the same. So previously it will give you immediate vet 3 in this scenario. So that's not going to happen, and you're not going to get any like 25% experience boost upon transferring either. So a bit of a nerf overall, combining up transfer orders alongside officers' quarters on the tier 2 or tier 3 tech structures. Sturmpioneers have received quite a few nerfs in this hotfix. Even after the previous hotfix where they removed the duping problem, there was still a lot of Sturmpio blobs running around the map, and they were very tough to stop. With that vet 1 capture speed coming online after infantry officer quarters, really good map control, and like high durability, low bleed was just a real problem. You often felt like you could wipe 2 Sturmpioneers, but it just wouldn't really matter that much because they were just so efficient. So to address that, Relic have changed their reinforce costs. Now they're 35 manpower per model instead of 30, which was the same as Riflemen. When you consider their high health, like looking at a Tommy 95 health at 32, I think that's a very sensible change to increase their reinforce cost. They've also had an experience requirement increase to 850 now for vet 1, which is still cheaper than the allied mainlines, but within striking distance, harder to vet up now than Grenadiers are, for instance. Their weapon upgrades have also been increased in cost, the flamethrower by 10 munitions and the IR-STG by 25 munitions. And there was also a bug related to recovering with this battle group unlock. It would refund the fuel after you recovered or something like that. So essentially recovering would cost you 0 fuel, and that has now been patched out. Even after all of those nerfs, Sturmpioneers still may require further changes, because if we compare them to a Tommy, they've got the IR-STG up against the Bren, you can see now their healths are pretty close, within striking distance of each other. And the Sturmpioneers dominate them at every range, apart from max range. But it's pretty easy to avoid engagements at this range because you can just run away slightly and then you're out of the engagement. Very easy to disengage at this kind of range without taking too much damage. So yeah, they cleanly beat them pretty much every range. And then when you take into effect the moving multipliers, it's just like a cakewalk for the Sturmpios. They dominate them. So sure, Tommies have anti-tank grenades that might help them, but then Sturmpioneers can build stuff, so maybe that evens out. Tommies, you have to pay for their grenade upgrade. Sturmpios, they have that grenade assault for free. The Bren costs 100 munitions, whereas the IR-STG only costs 75. And then when we compare veterancy as well, Sturmpios get 5% extra hard to hit right from the start. Bigger health bonus at vet 3, 5 more health. And then I've got that plus 25% damage at vet 3 as well, which is pretty damn strong. So it kind of feels like Tommies need that training center boost, otherwise they're going to fall behind in scaling as well. Relic also fixed a bug where Sturmpios were taking up too much population, but their upkeep cost was too low, so they've reversed those numbers. The overall upkeep cost should still be the same, but now you'll be able to fit more units alongside of them. And yes, Sturmpios are just 4 population per thing. Obviously this is pre-upgrade where they'll take up 1 more. Still very efficient in terms of population cap compared to most mainlines that are at 7 or 8. But at least now after these changes, Sturmpioneers should be manageable. We'll have to fine-tune the balance after that. The propaganda towers, part of last-ditch defenses, have also been nerfed down to 33% capture and decapture speed from 50%. Hadn't really been seeing many of these in 1v1 so far. And in Breakthrough, they fixed the 2.5 ton cargo truck, so it's no longer taking up population anymore. Onto the British forces, and we're having a look at the Firefly. It's had its movement stats buffed. First off, its speed, that's the column at the end here. Still got the old value here, 3.9, now it's up to 4.25, so identical to the Brumbeer, which is alright. You know, helps you chase down the Brumbeer, gives you a little bit more space between you and the Tiger. Alright. Also, it's had its accel and decel buff. That might actually be more relevant than the movement speed buff. Still going to be, you know, slower than like the Martyrs, going to be able to chase it down and all the other medium tanks, but, you know, a little bit of a tickle to its movement. And for DAC in the Panzerjäger Command Battle Group, the reworked defensive positions buff no longer stacks with combined arms. So units were running around at turbo speed, no longer going to be the case. Walking around at the exact same speed inside or outside the circle while combined arms is there. Can't see the buff anymore. Just see combined arms. My final thoughts on this hotfix, really good turnaround time. Sub 2 weeks, big thumbs up there. And they hit, you know, some of the worst outliers like Sturmpios, good. But I do worry this is going to be the only patch we'll see until like maybe early February or something like that. So that could be a bit of a worry because they didn't touch some of the other outliers like I think tungsten rounds, specifically on DAC Martyrs, overperforming, making them way too cost efficient. They didn't change anything there. Or I think like early barred up riflemen are really tough for Wehrmacht to deal with in 1v1s. And maybe like the Sturmpios overperformance is kind of been masking that problem, but I imagine that will start to surface in the coming weeks. And I heard that the people who are doing the Sturmpio duping bug only got a 1 week ban from play, which is just not nearly enough. I reckon just make it a perma ban because, you know, these players are in here clearly exploiting a blatant bug, like game ruining bug, making way too many units in the super early stages, you know, doing it once accidentally, whatever, you can forgive it. But these people are doing repetitively for like ages on end, ruining game after game after game, trying to boost their win rates. We just don't need those people in the player base. We don't need them. You know, get rid of them for good. Perma ban for those kind of exploits. I don't want to see them ever again. If you want to support the continued production of my videos, I hope you consider coming on board as a Patreon backer.